When I was getting mentored by you during COVID, those were the best years marketing wise that I had. I had the biggest breakthroughs and everything like that. And I speak to people and they're like,
yeah, COVID really put me under. You know, no one was hiring at the time.
I'm like, huh? What?
Yeah.
Did you like not go on like YouTube and like type in like how to make money and like go down the rabbit hole? That's how I found you. 17 different layers of searching this, and this.
wild.
Facebook picks up on the pixel. You show up wearing a big white belt buckle. That's what happened.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Josh.
Yes, sir.
So you have 20 plus companies. What's that like?
It's stressful at times, I own pieces of them, right? I don't own them in whole, but it gets a lot easier when you start building your team and start believing in people and start trusting people and just start, you start using things that you learn in one company and just scaling it into other companies, like recruiting. You learn how to recruit for one, you can do it for all. Payroll, do it for one, you do it for all. And it gets stressful at times, but I mean, we're here for growth, right? So,
What's the mindset behind that? So, sometimes you'll see one person,
Mm-hmm.
they go all in on one company, hopefully try to push it.
Yeah.
You're going a little bit the other direction, it seems like, where you have 20.
Yeah.
What's your thought process on that? Do you think that makes it harder, easier? Like, what's kind of the destination?
I would say now it makes it easier, but at first it was that. So me and my partner Sam have always been in health insurance. Like we started 13 years ago as health insurance agents. We were agents for 4.5 years, right? Right around the time of COVID, we decided to transfer from under 65 insurance to get into Medicare insurance, right? So we went all in. Like the cost of doing it was way more money than I was even comfortable. It was way over projections, right? We went all in on that business. And from there, a lot of the companies we have now are ancillary businesses to that business, like a lead generation company, an overseas marketing company where in the insurance space, there's things called BPOs. You can go in the Philippines and they'll say, hey, we can get you 20 dialing agents to qualify leads and we'll charge you $6 an hour, when really they're paying them $1. I went on Craigslist, got one person that I can trust. I hired like 5, got it down to 1, built out an entire team. Now they're like 200 people over there.
Wow.
And we pay them $4 an hour. So they're getting like 4 times the amount that normal people get. And we have a whole recruiting funnel. So that's one example. Then you start doing a payroll system, IT, recruiting, which is like our biggest high ticket offer that I took a lot of stuff I learned from you.
Nice.
And that's kind of how it scales. And then other people ask you for consulting and then you take a piece of that and just bring those elements and put them into those. And then you build the team.
Okay, so some other questions. I like where this is going. The VAs in the Philippines, do you feel they're good enough? Or if someone was to listen, will they go, I can definitely tell they're not from the USA? Does it matter? Does it depend on the offer?
So the offers that we run overseas teams on are insurance. We have 3 marketing companies where we qualify business owners and then get them to an agent that can get them very low level marketing, which we then upsell into higher ticket, like agency offer stuff, which that also expands into some of those companies. And, the thing is, once you have recruiting right now is the biggest bottleneck for any company. You know this, So we built a recruiting system where we generate a ton of candidates. And then I built like filtering processes. All of our guys sound like they're here. Most of them, but the thing is, it's like, we just look at their numbers. Cause the thing is, it's like, you can make assumptions of this works, this doesn't. Just look at the conversion, just build basic Google Sheets. We export it out of our dialer systems. If they got a good conversion, but they sound like they're from the middle of the jungle somewhere, they got a good conversion rate. So who cares,
You're logical, and I love that because that's exactly why I am. It's very by the numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, so earlier, correct me if I'm wrong, you sell insurance, and you said specifically, did I hear Medicaid?
Medicare.
Medicare,
yeah.
So as the person selling the insurance, walk the audience through how exactly you make money from that.
Yeah, sure. So we are direct to carrier, right? So like our agency, and it wasn't like that when we first started. When we first opened our office our first under 65 health insurance office back in like 2015, 2016, there was like 4 guys eating off every single thing that we did. And there's always going to be someone eating off you, but just not 4 of them, dude,
right.
And
so when you say that, like other people getting commissions.
Yeah, so like you can't go right to the carrier. You cannot go right to Aetna and say, I want a contract. I want these comps. It's all about comps and insurance because you're building a huge residual book, right? So like if you get 26% and the other guy gets 22% over time, that's millions, right? That's like a lot. So What was the question?
No, you're good. You're good. So how are you making money from
Okay.
that? Because I think a lot of people who are listening,
Yeah.
they obviously buy insurance,
Sure,
but
sure.
I think where they're going to get confused is how is it that your company
Yeah.
actually makes it? Because you're
Sure.
not the insurance company, you're just selling it.
So insurance companies, they either have agents on their side and they give them a certain rip, usually 25% per month as long as it goes, or they just get paid an hourly wage, or they have independent producers, us, and then from there you hire a team and but you have one agency producer license. So we sign people up for Medicare policies. The reason we went from under 65 to over 65, logically thinking, right? Who's the new people in the market for over 65? They're 65. Who's the new market for under 65? They're 18. So the market's not getting replenished with enough people. And as the economy gets worse, those people are getting bled dry, right? So people that I've been in the business with, my buddy Corey is like he's like an insurance lord. Like the guy has, I should introduce you guys. He's nuts, man. He, like when he taught us how to sell all this stuff, he's basically just showing us, where am I trying to go with this?
No, you're good. So you said you went from over 65 to under 65.
Yeah.
And then what I'm just trying to understand is, so, if I pay for Aetna,
Yeah.
Aetna
Right.
gets, whatever I pay. But what I'm trying to understand is where you come in. Is it just the fact you're selling the policy and they give you a cut of that?
Yes. So
That
we have,
simple?
yeah. So we have the contract with the carrier. We sell the product. We do our own marketing, get them on the phone, enroll them in. We're a broker. So we work with Aetna, Cigna, Mutual of Omaha. We just got our contract renewed with Humana. So we sell the policy and we get a cut of that. And then we have a whole retention team because, it's not if you can get them to buy, it's can you get them to stay. But the thing is, if someone buys Medicare, especially Medicare supplement, what we sell, you never cancel it. It's 100% health insurance. So once I saw that, I was like, we've been doing this wrong. And then someone was like, well, yeah, everyone wants to do Medicare supplements. Do you have millions of dollars to invest into it?
So walk through that, because that's very interesting. So you're telling me what is different with Medicare supplement that's different from Aetna or Cigna or whatever?
So a Medicare supplement, you have 12 months of eligibility period. So 6 months before you turn 65, you can sign up for a supplement plan that effectuates when you're 65.
Got it.
It's called guaranteed issue. So you can have cancer, you can have everything, and they can never deny you. There's no underwriting for those 6 months. And then they give you another 6 months when you take your Part B. So sometimes people delay it because they work past 65, but most people, when they turn 65, there it is. So you have a 12-month window. This is where doing the marketing for this was very difficult at first, and that's why people told us you're gonna need a lot of money because you're gonna lose a lot testing.
Because just so I'm clear, you're only looking for someone who's 64 about to turn 65.
Yes. Yep.
Oh
yep.
my gosh.
Yep. But we do right now. Mutual of Omaha is arguably the largest Medicare supplement insurer in the country. We're number 7 out of production, but it's all through call center stuff, man. Which is why when I started working with you, the whole concept of less leads but higher value leads, right. I was lost. I used to bother your brother all the time, dude, I'll if you just tell me, But then it started to make sense. And, but with the insurance, it's just our sales floor it's imagine Wolf of Wall Street, just legitimate. Mm-hmm. We make it fun. You got to make it, I'm telling you, man, you got to make it fun.
Okay. So, dude, I love this. This is so super interesting. So I'm assuming that to sell insurance, it's similar in the sense of getting a real estate license, right? So you have to go through some curriculum, you learn how to sell it. And then after that, once you are licensed, these insurance companies. So let's back up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Why would an insurance company want to have someone like you sell it versus they just build their own internal team? What's the benefit? Is it just less to manage, or what's the benefit for them?
The insurance companies do not know how to train sales agents.
Interesting.
They don't. It's all corporate, man. It's everything that me and you hate. It's all corporate. It's all, it doesn't take into, for instance, this is something I've learned in call centers over time that people can really get value from. I have employees that are not that good, right? But what's the one thing that you need in a sales floor? You need energy, you need charisma, you need someone that is just, for lack of a better term, a court jester, right? So I have people that they're not that good, but they motivate and they spread positivity, because the last thing that me or my partners will ever allow is negativity on a sales floor. It spreads like cancer.
Of course.
More than on a call center sales floor, especially if the leads are a little rough and people get lazy and they just look for laydowns. So that's one element that the insurance companies would never understand. They're just going to look at it that person, doesn't have a good conversion rate, get rid of them. Well, what if everyone loves that person and they were the only reason that person stayed? They can't see that. I can see that because I was one of them. You know what I mean?
Wow. So, okay. So I love this. So you're searching, man, there's so many good questions we could pull from this. So you're looking for a 64-year-old about
64 and a half to 65 and a half. Oh, sorry.
Crazy. No, you're good.
Yeah.
So you got a 6 to 12 month window.
Yeah.
And then because they can't get denied, do you guys get paid out more on those as well as what you were saying? Is that the other benefit?
Well, if you think about it like that, the longer that they keep the policy, so just numbers wise, someone that's 65, they're going to live longer, right? With those policies though, they pay in full for 7 years and then they reduce down to like 10% after 7. But just like you taught me, I look at it like this. There's 2 numbers that every business owner needs: cost per acquisition, lifetime value. There's no, what else are we talking about? It's like, you taught me that.
Yeah.
I was like, there's like 7 numbers I need, Tanner. And you're like, dude, there's 2. Like, stop. There's 2. And now I get it, man,
Yeah.
But lifetime value, one of those policies is maybe $1,400. My cost per acquisition, I'm like super anal about these numbers, about lists. Of course,
and you're super analytical.
Yeah, like this month, I think we're sitting at like a 331 all in. I'm talking about dialer systems. I'm talking about Filipino overhead. I'm talking about agent. That's not including agent commission. So agent commissions, even if it's 1,400 and you're all in is 700.
10%? What is it? 10%?
RRIP.
Yeah.
Typically, it depends on the contracts. It depends on the longevity of the contracts.
Okay.
We're a 4-year-old company, so about 22 to 28%, depending on the state.
Okay.
Depending on the carrier.
And then what does that rep make? So that's for your company, 22 to 28. What does that sales rep get?
Sales rep, if they sell, so there's like a silver and a gold plan. It's not really a silver gold. Like it's like the second best and the best.
Right.
We pay them a flat rate, 200 or 250 commission per thing. But the thing is, a lot of like when we're doing recruiting, some people be like, well, this company told me they're paying 500. I'm like, yeah, but their marketing sucks. So you're going to get 1 sale a day and my guys get 5 sales a day. So like you pick.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then I just over leverage the fact. I'm like, everybody comes in for interviews and they're like, I just want growth. I'm like, okay, well, if you have, 15 to 20 companies being formed around you with more being formed, do you think you can grow here if you just are who you say you are?
Right.
Most of them aren't. Most of them just aren't.
Test them out.
But that's why high volume of candidates and then filtering out how to filter them, just like a call center takes 100,000 records and you filter them out based on certain select questions and then pass the good ones over to your agent. We figured out how to do that for recruiting, and now we recruit for like 100 companies across the country.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you said that the reps get $200 a pop. I'm from the high ticket space. You've done high ticket as well. So I'm curious, is that a good number for that, or what? So what are the size of these policies? Like are you guys getting $3,000 per sign up, or like what do you get?
So the average policy in America for like a Plan G costs about $139.
That's it
per month. Well, because
per month.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of people think like, well, how can it be that cheap? Because like they're older, shouldn't like we're younger and we pay more.
Yeah,
they've already paid 80%. So it's it supplements their Medicare Part A and B, which they paid into forever. Now, keep in mind, if you make more money, like me and you, when we get Medicare, we're gonna have to pay like $700 a month because it goes based. Your Medicare through the government goes based on income.
Got it.
So unless we do all the good stuff with the real estate and take debt on it,
you do all the fancy work. Okay, so just so I understand the core of this company, and then we'll get into your other ones.
Yeah,
you have a bunch.
Yeah.
It's you. You weren't doing this when I met you first, were you? Yeah. So
I was doing health insurance as a brokerage, and then I was really big into Amazon because that was from like an extension of when I was.
That's more what I remembered you for. So you got licensed for this, and then essentially, just so I'm clear, you just built a sales team that is mostly in the Philippines, and then you came up with like obviously the strategy and so forth. And so, is most of your team in the Philippines then, and then very few people here?
No, I have. So in the office building that we have now, we have 7 dedicated call centers. Our insurance office, we have 25 seats and they're all full. We never turn recruiting off because, sometimes the good thing about that is if someone's struggling there and they just don't get the insurance aspect, or they just can't, you're selling to the top 10 to 15% of America because that's who can afford health insurance at that age.
Right.
You got to talk the talk. You got to, you know what I'm saying? You got to you have to, my floor manager, Matt, who I'm like mentoring for the last 3-4 years, he basically runs all the day to day, which is, just giving people opportunities is awesome. He was literally homeless when I first met him, in recovery. He was a great guy, fell in with the wrong people, wrong stuff, and now he runs my Medicare entire back end sales team, everything like that. Got him licensed, all that stuff. What was the first question?
No, you're good. You're doing perfect. I want to follow up on that with, basically, anyone can buy insurance, right?
Yeah.
Not obviously not everyone can afford it, but I look at insurance a lot as maybe real estate or water, where like there's just a lot of competition. So is there something in particular you do to stand out that the other people can't do?
So the one thing that you and your brother taught me is the concept of a lead magnet, right? So the first thing is just the basic core concept of sales. What's their problem? How do I provide the solution? How do I make them have a smile on their face and feel good about it after? So the problem is people turning 65 are super confused about Medicare. Anytime you see an advertisement on the highway or on TV or on radio, it's for a Medicare Advantage plan. What that is Medicaid. So,
and that's the one you're selling.
No.
Okay,
No.
it's a little different.
So Medicare Advantage is like walking to the grocery store or walking to work because it's free.
Got it.
It sucks, but it's free. Medicare Supplement is like going downstairs and hopping in your Urus and driving around.
Okay,
You're going to pay for it, but your experience is 10
way
times
better,
yeah.
of course.
And it's health insurance. It's like, dude, you worked your whole life to have top-notch health insurance. You can go to any doctor you want. There's no more HMOs, PPOs. Is my doctor in network? World is your oyster.
Wow.
100% coverage. If you want to live at the hospital, go ahead.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like,
so that's gonna be what I'm gonna be buying.
Yeah.
So you have me on your list to hit me up when I'm 64.
Yeah. So everyone told me, they're like, you cannot just market to people in that age range. And I said, you're crazy. I'm like, there's 400 to 500,000 people a month turning that. If we just get this much,
you'll kill
we're a top 10 office in the country. And the cheat sheet, instead of taking 500 pages, we condensed it down to like 6, made it on Canva, super high level. I just asked a bunch of my dad's friends. I'm like, you don't want to know any of the granular stuff. You just want to know, is this the right choice? Is this going to solve my problem? Make it simple and get me on the phone with someone.
Right.
So it gives them a taste, and then it pushes them to a call, a scheduled call, which in the insurance industry is unheard of, to be able to schedule 70 to 80 scheduled calls a day, plus generate 700 to 800 live transfers a day that you're generating, not buying. Because live transfers, like in the insurance space right now, people sell them for $150 a call. Wow. With a 20-second buffer.
That is crazy.
But here's the thing. The people that generate those calls, if they were smart, they would also be selling the policies, because the money isn't selling them. You're selling the gold shovels, but you know where the gold is. Like in the gold rush, the people selling the shovel, but you also know where the gold is. You'd make more if you didn't sell the shovel, or sold the shovels, I guess, but also sold, but there's only so many people. So I would never sell leads. I would rather just build a call center around it,
Wow.
There's been situations where people came to me and they're like, hey, can you help us generate leads for this industry? And I was just like, went to my partner, Jimmy, who's like a little AI robot. And he's just like, we don't need to downline this off anybody. We're just going to figure it out ourselves. Like business funding, we fund businesses money. We run ads on Facebook. We use Go High Level to contact them.
Right.
And, it's like technically a business loan is not really a business loan. You're buying their future receivables.
Right. So
like a laundromat that's doing $100K a month, $3,000 a day. All your washer machines break down, we'll give you $100,000. You're going to pay it back in 3 months, and you're going to pay us back $140.
Wow.
We're going to pluck it out of your bank every single day.
So, okay. So next question then is, walk me through how maybe you would build a call center, because obviously I'm from remote sales.
Yeah.
All the teams are remote.
100%.
They're calling from their homes. So what's the biggest difference in building a remote sales team or a call center?
Yeah. From the ground up. If we were just going
because for me, I don't even obviously I can build sales teams, but I've never actually built like a call center team. And so there's got to be some intricacies there that I don't know about. So I'm just curious, from the ground up, what's the difference with a call center team versus a remote sales team where maybe you have 4 or 5 guys that all work from home?
Which I had when during COVID, working with you.
You've seen both.
So call center, and keep in mind, I did not develop this. I worked for some very, very smart, now very, very uber rich guys it's just like you and when you first started out doing high ticket mentorships, right? Sure. How many people were you with? Like in the Amazon programs, I was with tons.
Yeah. Tons. Yeah.
Thousands.
Yeah.
So I just looked at what they did, and asked them high level questions. Yeah. So if we were starting a call center from scratch, first thing you got to do is you have to have a good power dialer. You have to have a very, very good software to be able to go through tons of phone numbers and qualify them. Once
and
you have that,
and real quick, for anyone listening, power dialing just means it will call the second you hang up. So it just goes through numbers really fast.
There's levels of it.
Right.
You have the Toyota Camry of power dialers, you have the Kias, and then you have the Ferraris. I only use the Ferrari because the ROI is just stupid.
What's the best power dial?
Convoso. They're out of LA.
Never heard of it.
Every time I go out to a lot of lead conferences, like lead generation conferences in Vegas. One's called LeadsCon, and I connect with. We just build that relationship.
What makes it better?
Dude, it's just like driving a Ferrari. I can change. So if I say we put in a fresh list of just raw business to business leads, right? Like for your offer, we'll build your offer, right?
Okay.
Business to business leads, or business owner leads, just guys that like think maybe if I had a better sales team, I'd make more sales. We put them in a dialer. You can turn up answering machine detection. So say we have 10 users, we'll log in 10 people. We'll do the settings so where it's making outbound dials, but you can change the answering machine detection. So if it detects any part of an answering machine, it bypasses it. Wow. And within 5 minutes, all those people are on 2-minute or longer phone calls. And then you just like, I workflow the lead. So I'll take, I don't want to get off track from like building, but like there's one thing I love doing. It's called talk time data. So if I run 1 million records through a list of all opt-in data, right, that you acquire from lead generation companies will sell you older data that still is legal to call because they showed an interest. Run through 1 million records and maybe 40,000 of those records went over 2 minutes in talk time. Well, what do you think I do with those? That's my retargeting campaign. And I learned that from running Facebook ads. I was like, yo, every single time I ran retargeting ads, that's where all my money came from.
So you're actually able to choose. How are you able to choose that? You just take that CSV file and upload it?
No, it's all in Convoso. So
you gotta be kidding me.
So I have a workflow that set, it's just rules, right?
Right.
If a lead goes over X amount of seconds, put it to this list. If the disposition on it was not qualified, don't send it to this list. Put it in. I call it the trash can. Put it in the trash can. And sometimes just to check the like for QA purposes, I'll take the trash can list and dump it back in. And like when 7 sales pour out of it, I just take the people that dispoed and I'm like, yo, we need a pep talk real quick. Like you disposition this is not qualified, and then they just signed up for this like a week later, you know? So and then you start training your guys on this is what you have to look out for. You start looking for the little things. So first thing would be dialing system. Second thing, you got to have a lead generation source. So if you don't know how to generate leads, which at first I didn't, the reason I came to you was because I didn't know how to generate my own leads. I knew where to aggregate them from. I know lead providers. You just go to lead conferences. They're at the Hard Rock in Hollywood all the time. They're at LeadsCon in Vegas all the time. You just go meet people. You're gonna waste a lot of money because everyone in that industry, I hate to say it, most of them are scumbags. They're just, that's how they are. Think about it like this. If I sell you a list of leads for $5,000, it's an Excel file. Why can't you sell it 10 more times for $5,000?
Yeah, of course.
That's what they do.
So
or they'll get the list of really good leads. You know, say you're buying 100,000 records. They'll take 50,000 of the list of the good list and take 50,000 bad leads. So you still get some contact and you'd be like, oh, like, you know, they'll be like, well, maybe it's your dialer. Maybe it's not my leads. Maybe it's your. So I had to go through all of that and burn a lot of money. Once you have your right lead guys, and I mean, it's.
How are they getting their leads? Because like, so what I'm assuming, just correct me if I'm wrong, you're not cold calling people. I mean, technically you are a little bit, but from the standpoint, these are opt-ins that people are selling to you. Is that accurate?
Opt-ins, yeah. Okay. And then also we're generating our own off Facebook. We have a TikTok channel. On our Facebook, we have like 50,000 followers that are just, my agents are just, it's shooting fish in a barrel. I tell them like, go in the Facebook page and start DMing them. They haven't figured that out. And since the calls do good, like I haven't like fully trained them on like a full messenger team.
Sure. Because
I try and they just don't get it. And I'm just like, just keep doing what you're doing, you know?
It's a little more complex doing the messaging than the calls.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess like I am curious, why not just generate all your own leads? What's the reason for maybe finding a lead broker that you're buying the leads from? What's the benefit with that?
Because honestly, I'm spending the amount on Facebook that I feel like I'm touching every person in that age range. I can only reach, because not every one of them's on Facebook. We can say that they are, but a lot of the people that
so literally your target on Facebook is 64 to 65.
I do 64 and a half. I do 64 only, and I say if you're born in these months. I had a backdoor hack it.
Wow,
but it worked. It worked.
Yeah, because it's like you can't even do 65, which would be an issue because it's 65 plus, so that puts everyone in there.
Tanner, I bashed my head against the wall for a month straight, and then I was like, wait a second. But Facebook still doesn't get it right. Like they're still. But the cool thing is like we have. Like for next month from our own self-generated leads, I think we have like 10,000 leads that I can put into our dialing system in like 3 days when it turns the month. And the cool thing about selling over 65 insurance it's not like there's a thing called open enrollment for under 65 where it's busy really not right now and there's ebbs and flows in the demand. With this, it goes by age of the person, not time of the year. So every day is open enrollment. Every day, every month, a new wave of 600,000 people turn 65.
Really?
And they need it.
600,000 a day? Wow.
Not a day. I'm sorry, a month.
A month. Okay.
A month. It's getting there.
Even so, though, that's crazy.
The baby boomers.
So so there's two ways to get leads. Obviously, you do it yourself. You're running Facebook ads, IG, whatever. And then the other way is you just find someone who. Well, I guess why I'm curious. They probably don't tell you, but how do those brokers get the leads? Do you have any idea? I mean, obviously they have some opt-ins, but like, where are they getting them from?
A lot of times they'll run, like on Facebook, they'll be like they run, obviously certain ads towards seniors. So they'll be like, hey, like opt in for this free health survey. And then they'll say, do you also, you're turning 65. Are you also interested in like hearing about Medicare benefits?
Yeah.
And they'll send those leads to me and we contract with those leads. Because I can't attack every single person on there. The thing is it's not cold calling because it's not like that would be calling out of the yellow pages.
Course,
it's like I call it warm calling where it's like they did raise their hand.
They just don't know you're calling per se
at that time. But we just teach our agents, hey, when you get on the phone, I have a thing called 6 steps to a perfect opening. I stole from my friend Corey, but but it's just like be loud, be forward thinking, say assume the first name, and just. I don't know. I don't know all 6 of them off the top of my head, but like just 6 steps and just get on that phone and just make them feel like it's just like door to door.
Yeah.
I actually have a couple of guys in door to door that did door to door. And once they saw the call center model, I'm like, imagine door to door where you just sit back, you listen to music, noise canceling headphones, and I'm just putting person after person after person, all in the right age range. You just have to make them like you. And then they start making a shitload of money. Yeah. Like a lot.
That's crazy. So essentially too, what I like about your business is it's all sales. There's no fulfillment because once they're done, you just hand them off. You're done. Correct?
So we hand them off. We don't hand them off. Like we're the agent. They're our client. So we're a brokerage. So we have a whole retention team. I have like 5 girls in the back.
Oh, okay. So you service them as well.
Yes.
Got it.
Because they're ours.
Okay.
We're not just passing them off. We could do that and you'll get like 10% or you can get 150% more, which is, those policies are very valuable. The thing that we were so interested in getting to that business, private equity loves those companies. So the goal for us is I don't want to hold on.
Yeah, because they're not going anywhere.
Yeah. So when we first started, we were burning so much cash. I and my partner, and we had one other investor helping, like with strategic. He helps out with like lead gen a little bit. We were like, we don't want to do this anymore. Like this is getting out of control. We're so deep in the hole. We were doing both forms of Medicare. So the other one, the free one, all the people just sign up and they cancel. And some of them are like 80 years old. So they'll sign up with you, and then tomorrow they'll sign up with him and not even remember they signed up with you. And the whole point of an insurance book of business is retention,
of course,
like for monthly payments.
Yeah.
So we got rid of that and rebuilt the whole thing. So we almost went out of business.
But so back that up though. So I got lost a little bit. So when they buy insurance from you, then they go over here and they buy insurance from someone else. So how does that mess with you? Does it like negate your deal and then it goes?
Well, that was when we were doing both forms. So the one that was the free one called Medicare Advantage, they'd sign up with you.
Yeah.
All it is an enrollment. The government actually pays you.
Got it.
So it's like super. Oh my God.
Anytime the government can pay, you're gonna get paid pretty good.
You are, but the compliance is off the chart. Like, dude, you're directly dealing with CMS, Center for Medicare Services.
Yeah.
Every call has to be on like crazy hard drive storage. If an agent says anything wrong, even breathes the wrong way, they're sending like a compliance letter. They do it twice. You got to fire. Like, it's terrible. Yeah, I felt like I was back in the corporate world, but worse because I'm paying to be there as an investor.
Yeah, of course.
So, but private equity loves Medicare supplement plans. They never cancel. So the goal for us is hopefully within 5 years, sell it for a nice...
Why do they never cancel? Because it's just they pay so much up front because of 7 years?
So the people pay the premium, and as you get older, your risk goes up, so your premium goes up. But also that eligibility period of no underwriting, it's from 64 and a half to 65.
Right.
And then you get 6 months
later. So once they pay for it, it's basically they're not going to get rid of it because as they get older, they're going to get more sick.
They can't because you can never go back.
Oh, wow.
You can never.
So that's why they can't cancel.
They can't. Well, now they can switch plans.
Sure.
So if another agent, we get it all the time where an agent will get on the phone and just be like, oh, they signed you up for this plan. Like, how dare they do that? All Medicare supplement plans are standardized. So a Plan N from Aetna and a Plan N from Mutual are the exact same thing.
Yeah.
They cannot be different. So sometimes we'll have other agents that are smaller. Same thing in the high ticket space. They probably bash your name like crazy, knowing that they couldn't even like be a guest speaker at one of your places. But they're saying they're the best.
Sure.
And you get in big trouble for that, man.
Yeah.
The insurance is regulated by the Department of Financial Services, man.
Yeah. You got to be super careful with that. Because when we did door-to-door sales with security, they call them switchies, right? And you go in and it's like the same alarm system, and someone's like, "Oh yeah, like this one's way better."
Yeah.
And it's like the exact same system. Okay, cool. So that's super intriguing. Obviously, is that similar to? I'm assuming. I mean, basically at this point, it's like I guess do you call yourself? Is it an insurance company because you're selling it and so you're delivering the whole thing.
Yep.
So is that similar to what Patrick Bet David sold and built? Is that same?
He did
type
life
of deal?
insurance though.
Life insurance.
So
okay.
I never got into life insurance. I just, like I work. So to backtrack,
medical insurance, like what's supposed to be better? Or are they both good? I mean,
health insurance. I think it's just what I know, man.
Yeah.
Life insurance, it's very difficult. Everyone needs health insurance. No one needs life insurance, and insurance is
like, unless something actually happens.
Yeah, like I'm saying, like the person, like your family needs it, but you don't need it. If you don't have health insurance in the United States, your life is not going to be good because you can get the medical attention no matter what. A hospital legally has to take care of you, but they don't have to give you red carpet service.
Yeah, correct.
With like Medicare Advantage plan, say you break your knee right now, right? Yeah. And you're on one of those plans, you can't go get surgery. Yeah. You got to go to physical therapy first because there was so much because of the scammers. The scammers ruined it. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, because for me, I think right now, I mean, Obamacare came out, I had to get something I didn't want, but now I just do like short-term PPO. Like,
that's it.
And that's all I need because like I'm healthy. It's like if I get hit by a car, like I get cancer, but other than that, like I'm good to go.
You just need catastrophic.
Yeah,
if anything
exactly.
bad happens, all the money you've made doesn't go out the window.
Yeah. Sometimes I forget the name when I'm talking to the medical insurance agent. It's like, the one where if like I get hit by a car or I get cancer and I'm going to die.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, all right. So that was super intriguing. What I want to know now is, so now you have, that's like essentially one company and you have 20 others. So are the 20 others contingencies of that, or where are those coming into play?
A little bit. That's just the one that we started with. And I got into health insurance because that's just what was presented to me, man. I went to school at UNLV in Vegas for hotel management and worked in hotels.
But when did this come into play? Because when I met you, you were doing the Amazon FBA. So was this after, before, during?
I was doing insurance.
You were already doing it.
I was already doing it. I just built it out to a point of I didn't know if I wanted to stay in insurance, like
or move on to something else.
So I started doing the Amazon. That started crushing it. That allowed me to we brought in 2 partners, gave them sweat equity when we started the business, with the intention of after 2 or 3 years, you guys are going to run it, and me and my partner Sam will consult and put up more money if need be. Course. And then I just went full scale on Amazon. Wow. And then everyone kept asking. I wanted to learn Facebook ads, but I didn't have a product.
Right.
So I kept trying to do affiliate stuff. And I was like, why are you overthinking this, man?
Yeah.
Like, you know how to do Amazon. You're seeing all these mentors that can teach you how to do business. And then I was just like, all right, let me start making a program. And then I got with you.
Well, and the funny thing that I like is, it hits the points where obviously you're doing a service, but it's like easy to deliver, so to speak. They sign up and then the service is like, probably just customer service, answering questions.
Yeah.
You've kind of hit a nice pocket niche. And then anytime what I've seen is it's these, it's the boring businesses where, in the online marketing world, what you're doing, wouldn't be that complex. But I'm sure in that industry, anytime you could take those internet marketing skills from what I've seen, the richest people I've seen, they always take internet marketing and then they move it into these boring businesses because there's no competition.
Nope.
So if you run ads, there's no one else running those ads and they don't know how to do the ads. And it's like, it's so wild to me to see that because I'm listening to you and I'm going, man, like I just need to start marketing for this instead of marketing for business owners. That's incredible. Okay. So all these other businesses you have, are like, how did that come into play? Is this just like you took a little piece of equity, you don't really deal with it? Is it like other call centers? Like, what is that?
So we start them and then bring people in, like someone that like is an employee of ours, and like they just have earned the spot, and we want to like really lock them in and make it so they have a vested interest and everything, and then we just expand it. So like the insurance was the first call center venture we got into, expanded it into the Medicare business, but then we started seeing like, hey, like I have internet marketing background. We brought another guy in that's like an absolute Facebook whiz kid and knows how to build funnels, and me and him really clicked. And I was like, hey, we need a lot of help with recruiting, like a lot of help. Like we're growing. Like when we first started that business, we almost went out of business because of recruiting. So we built a call center for recruiting where we generate the leads off Indeed. There's like this, where you get the leads doesn't matter as much as the process. Sure. So we just generate a ton of interest off Indeed with really engaging copy. Get them on the phone, qualify them, because you can hear a salesman's tool.
Of course.
It's not a nurse.
Yeah.
If they're good, send them in for the interview, crush the interview, tell them how they're going to win. A lot of our sales agents, our commission structures, I overpay people because it's worth it in the long run. They stay with me forever.
Yeah, of course.
And that's it. So marketing.
So you're building basically you built a recruiting kind of agency for sales reps, and then who's getting these reps? Are these your companies or someone
Our
else's?
company's got them at first.
Yeah.
And then we can scale more. And then my friends in the industry
they're paying you for it.
Yeah. We're generating them like leads, but they're candidates. And then we just charge one flat fee to make it a reoccurring model. And it's really easy to run.
Well, back that up. So how do you make it, if it's a flat fee, how's it reoccurring? Like back that part up.
So when you own a call center, we only recruit for sales organizations. I just wanted to niche down. We might get into like nursing, but I don't know anything about it. I don't want to be a faker.
Right, it's like super. Yeah.
I know sales, man.
Yeah.
Like 2 seconds, I can tell if a guy's gonna be good or not, just based on did he fill the paper out right?
Yeah.
You know, so what was it?
No, so the question was, you're essentially a recruiting agency for these sales reps.
Yeah.
And so what I was asking
how's it reoccurring?
Well, yeah, how's it reoccurring? Because you said it's a flat fee, so I don't understand that part.
So say you own a call center, brand new call center, right? That you're trying to build. So we get you that dialing system, we get you the leads, but you need reps. So you pay our charge is $5,000 a month plus your Indeed spend. Most call centers, if they need 10 sales reps, they'll spend $40 to $60 a day on Indeed. Yeah. Generates the leads. We do everything for them. Full fulfillment. You take the in-person interviews, and then we made a system where you basically disposition what happens. It comes in. We can make reports off it, so we know how many people are showing up, how many people are hired, what's the not hired rate, and then match them up against our offices, other offices. You know, is it whatever, and then just look at the numbers and can keep optimizing. We first onboard you and say, what's your industry? What kind of agents do you want? Are there any licensing? We'll write out a crap load of really good content on Indeed, generate a ton of candidates, and then take them and put them into a dialing system, a one-to-one, not a predictive, a one-to-one, and just qualify them. And it's all scripted. And I train my guys on how to do it, and then they just manage it.
Man, dude, I love it.
So but it's all in the same building in Pompano Beach, right up by Fort Lauderdale. So like me and my partner Jimmy are there all day, and we're just managing, but really just
you're getting paid. You're not getting paid for like once they get placed. Like essentially they're paying you over and over again to like continuously
hire as many people as you want. $5,000 a month. But the thing is, recruiting is the easiest thing to understand, that it is always profitable. It's always profitable.
Yeah, of course.
So the average ticket, you know, even if it costs us, I think the average CPA right now is like to bring on a new client is like $2,000, but the average lifetime value is like $16,000.
So is the biggest reason they pay you because they don't know how to hire properly, or they don't know how to train properly, or both?
They don't know how to hire properly. They don't know how to. Well, the training, that's another aspect, because I can get you fire leads, you got to close them, right?
Yeah.
It's the hiring, the training, but also it's the time. You have to be obsessively dedicated, like to really. Me and my partner Jimmy did it ourselves for the first 6 to 8 months. On the weekends, 7 days a week, he would generate the list of candidates. He was like in there on Indeed. He knows how to tripwire the system to. You know, it's just like Facebook ads. It's like all of a sudden that ad dies. It doesn't produce good leads anymore. You have to know how to switch it, how to position it. You know, maybe it's in Miami. We'll put that it's in Doral, and maybe you'll get different candidates, and they're willing to drive to Miami. You have to think ahead, outside of the box. And once you do that, it's $5,000 a month. You pay for the Indeed spend. We manage it, and it's all one call center in Pompano. Yeah,
man, I'm telling you. And these are what? How big are these companies? Couple people, hundreds of people.
So you lived out in Utah for a little bit, right?
Of course.
You know the Grit?
Yeah. Wow.
They're our client. I was actually out there for Door to Door Con. We got our booth. This company's like a year old. It's like very new. We only used it for us, and I was like, we're making a high ticket offer out of this. Like, I don't care. We're making a high ticket offer out of this. And then, but we went out to Door Con in Utah, in Salt Lake City. First time out there. Great city, man. I love it out there. And we meet people that do hail restoration door to door. So a hailstorm hits, they need us to build an on-demand sales team. Like get people to move wherever, and they're going to travel with us to all the hail teams. But the Grit, we went out there, saw their headquarters. Dude, their headquarters is like, they have the Utah Jazz floor from last season in their headquarters.
No way.
So they're like door to door lords, and they use us. On our website, Hyperhired website, we have an interview I did with one of the main, like, I guess they're called like the team, not team leads. They call them something in their system, like one of the head guys that's like in like the head of the hierarchy of sales managers. And and then he starts telling his friends about it. And then all of a sudden they started getting pissed. They're like, yo, do not use my name anymore. We don't need any more competition because we're just hiring all these it works best for door to door because they need a large volume of people.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Because it's just a high attrition rate. I mean, I did door to door and it was rough. It was rough. Okay, cool. So, I guess the last question, then we're going to go a little bit into like your personal life, your story. You know, you took, like, what's been your experience? Because you did internet marketing where basically you're selling everything online. You're from home. Now you're doing this, which is, you know, you're still selling stuff online, but obviously I wouldn't call it internet marketing. You're selling like quote unquote a real service, right? Something people know. So what's been kind of the pros and cons of that, and which do you prefer?
I like it now where it's a hybrid. I did not like working from home, especially during COVID, because I just love engaging with people, man. It's like making it, I relate it all back to sports.
Sure.
Right? Could you do remote sports? It's like the dumbest thing ever.
It's fun when it's funny hearing you say that because I've only ever worked remotely, you know? And so I'm actually curious. Like, I probably would like an office environment. I've just never done it, so I'm just used to this. But I hear you on that because you probably get a lot of stimulation from it.
A ton, man.
Yeah.
I walk around. When I wear my Apple Watch to work, I think I walk like 3 miles a day. But dude, the thing is, like, I don't feel like I'm at work. I love it. So I spend some days 10, 12 hours there, but it's totally cool. I love it. You know?
Wow.
I have a room I can show you that has like, we have like 7 TVs for cameras all around. And then I have my TVs on my side because I run all the I'm overcharged of every dialing system. And I have guys that run them, but like, I just have a big wall of TVs with dialing systems and numbers and going crazy. And it's like the stock market, man, but you can't lose because if you do the same process over and over and it's logical, you'll always win, you know? And that's like, you know, the concept of logic is like one of the biggest things I learned from you. Like, it's just keep it simple, man. Like, you know?
Well, the thing I like about this business is, you know, the one thing I've loved about internet marketing, I mean, I've learned every skill: hiring, training, sales, ads, fulfillment, all that stuff. The one thing I haven't liked is that depending on the business, it's really hard to sell it because you're kind of the face, you're the guru, so to speak, right? And so like in this business, no one even knows you own it, and that's what makes it valuable. And that, so, you know, like I said, the richest people I know typically learn these internet marketing skills and then they apply them to quote unquote boring or real businesses. And I think that's the ticket. I mean, everyone I've met who's done something substantial, that's really been the ticket. And so that's kind of where I'm moving as well. But I love hearing this. So, okay, a lot of success, bunch of companies. Let's go back a little bit to get, you know more about you personally, because I think that obviously will play into your story. So start a little bit about how your childhood was, and then we'll take it from that point.
I was that kid that my grandmother would run around and say, this kid's going to be rich someday. I don't know how, because I was always trying to sell stuff. Like at 8 years old, I was selling iced tea in front of my house with my friend Chris. At 10, I'm selling lollipops. At 12, I found out you can sell baseball cards on eBay. So I was running to the baseball card store. This old guy, Joe's Card Shop in Pleasant Valley, New York. He was selling like a Kevin Garnett rookie card for like $5. And I see you can sell it for $25 on eBay. That, you know, you're an entrepreneur. You get it. You see that one time, there you go. And then it just started working. And that's how I got on the Amazon. Wow. You know? And then CD burning. I didn't know that you couldn't download stuff off Napster and Kazaa and LimeWire and put them on CDs, but everyone wanted me to do it. And I was the only one with a CD burner. So I turned that into a business, but, you know, got suspended from school for a week for that. But yeah, childhood, a lot of sports. Just loved being around my friends, having fun. That's why I really like the call center environment, because it feels like I'm just going to hang out with my friends, making money, and really getting to engage with people. Obviously, you know, for working remote like you do, you get the freedom. Sure. You can travel wherever, and I see you traveling all the time, you know. But going in and building something where like you just look around and you see the smile on people's faces, you know you're impacting a lot of people's lives, and you can see it every single day and give them a fist pound every day. Yeah, but growing up is just, you know, normal kid, man. A lot of sports, a lot of team building. Always, I think the biggest thing for an entrepreneur when you get older and you played sports, you're so used to that. It's like a drug when you win or see success of some sort, right? Like when you played football, like when you got picked for the team, that dopamine rush is better than if you went and hit a jackpot right now at the casino, you know, because anyone can go win the jackpot. You had to work for that and you got it. It's like those little rewards, I guess you can say, like, just from sports and then taking that into business and stuff, you know.
How were you raised with your parents? So did you have a hard childhood, easy childhood? Was it middle of the road?
my parents were very similar to your parents, where I got everything I wanted. I'm sorry, I got everything I needed, but I got nothing that I wanted. My mother grew up very, very poor. She still reminds every person she meets every day, even though she won't admit it, but she's a pharmaceutical sales rep, and she's literally like the final boss of like Karen in a good way. Like you are, like she is just a tiger in the jungle, right? So like that's who raised me, you know. And my dad is like more like laid back, but like they made me work for it all. But now every single day that I talk to them, they're like, you see why that worked, right?
Yeah.
You know? Same thing with you.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said. I didn't understand that growing up. You know, I really would get upset because I felt my parents made me work a lot harder than I thought.
Yeah.
But the problem is that if you feel, I think you have a plan B, then you're never going to work hard, because as soon as you know you can go to plan B, like I wouldn't have done it. I look back and I go, if I knew my parents would have bailed me out, there's no way I would have done what I've done, because it fucking sucked.
Yeah.
It was the worst.
Yep.
So I think even Patrick Bet-David was talking to him about this, where he was saying he's only going to give his kids money if they do X, Y, Z, and ABC, and it's all kind of planned out. And I think it makes sense, because they just don't understand the value of money when they haven't earned it. They don't. It's almost like this power that you have to learn how to harness. And so it always goes to show, I mean, the most successful people I know, they usually have a little bit of a difficult childhood, one way or the other, because if it's just given to you, you don't really understand. Like you just don't understand that it's a lot harder to get than most people think.
Yep.
So that's interesting. Okay, so you grow up, had what you needed, not more than that. Talk a little bit about like high school through college. Like it's just trying to get into the mind of how you got to where you are. Is there anything that happened in that time period that really kind of propelled you to where you're at today? Or
a lot of my friends came from the same background as me, where like, you know, like if we wanted video games, we had to go work for it, man. Like where I grew up is very blue collar. Like every one of my uncles, my dad, they're all in construction or in unions, in trades. I had to teach myself how to use a computer. I begged my mother for years. I'm like, all my friends have the internet. We don't even have a computer. And she's like, you don't need a computer. I'm like, please, you know, finally I got a computer. First thing I did on that thing, learn how to make money on it. That was the first thing I did, because I was like, my friend lived right next door to me. His parents bought him everything. What do you think happened in today, right? He's not really doing that great, because he had a plan B, C, D, you know?
Yeah.
And, but yeah, it's like all my friends in high school were all from the same as me. Like if you want a nice bike, you got to go work for it. When it snows, we were all out there with shovels, shoveling, just mini entrepreneurs from the start, man. Like whatever we can flip, you know, flipping CDs, I would flip lollipops when I was like 10 and made thousands of dollars. My parents thought I was like doing drugs or doing something shady. Just looking for honestly, I would say looking for opportunities. Always looking for opportunities. So like when I decided I did not want to be you know, in the hotel industry anymore after college, and I got the opportunity. I wanted to be in sales, but no one would give me an opportunity. And I said, the first opportunity they actually train me, I'm going to be the best in that office, because I'm going to outwork everyone. That's my plan. I'm just going to outwork everyone. I don't know what it looks like, but I'm going to do it. And just did it.
What did you study in college?
Hotel management.
Okay, so you did hotel management, and then you graduated, and then I'm assuming you took some job in the medical industry, or what happened with that?
So I studied hotel management, and I worked at the Wynn. Actually, I worked at Caesar's Palace, and I worked at the Wynn in Las Vegas.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just trying to see the transition from where you worked at the Wynn, and then you got into medical sales, and then you got into Amazon FBA. Like, how did that walk me through that timeline?
I was doing eBay when I was like a little kid, so I was always obsessed with e-commerce. I was always just looking for more things to sell, but I had no idea where do these guys get the inventory from. Then I saw a YouTube ad for Jungle Scout. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Like there's Helium 10, Jungle Scout, those softwares that like show you stuff. And I was like, Jungle Scout sounds cool. Let me look at it. And they were saying, you know, you could build your own Amazon products. And I heard the word private label for the first time, and I was like, what's that? That's where you can private label, you know, like this right here. You can go to a factory in China and put Tanner on it. And now your brand is Tanner, and you make microphone stands.
Yeah.
Or anything. That's really what got me into Amazon. For why I went and studied hotel management, I don't know. It just sounded cool at the time. I was so lost, man. I didn't know what to do. I knew I wanted to be like well off, but I had no track on how to get there. My dad works in construction. My mom was a real estate agent, then flipped over to pharmaceutical sales, and I didn't see anyone with a smile on their face, and I said, there has to be a better way. That's really how it happened. And I said, if I'm going to study anything in college, I might as well move to Las Vegas and study how all these big hotels work and the thing I hated about college is we would take field trips to all the casinos and meet with the presidents and everything. And they would all be like, you're going to be like me someday. But I would look at them and I'd be like, yo, these guys literally just gave their life to MGM Mirage or Wynn Resorts or Venetian, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they can be fired at any given moment and they don't own anything.
Yeah.
And they gave their life away. Like I asked one guy, I'm like, what's your biggest regret? He's like, I miss my kid's childhood. I'm like, I give up. I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow, dude, that's so interesting. So let's back up, I guess, to maybe what are the biggest 3 lessons you've learned? I mean, I think one big thing that stands out for me that I keep hearing when I have these interviews is, like, you just seemed like you were hungry for knowledge. And, like,
man.
you were curious and you wanted to learn. Like, what are maybe, like, 3 biggest takeaways of either a mistake? So, like, man, this was a huge mistake if I could go back in time. Or B, something that really helped you, where it's like, hey, man, you know, I did this and it really helped me be successful.
Authentically be yourself. I don't worry about what other people think because it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I used to, now I don't. Because once you start doing it more and more and more and you start realizing that people actually respect you when you're a little weird, you just start being yourself.
And that's what makes you have more success is you're different. Mm-hmm. That's such, you know what, that is such a good reminder because there's a quote, I don't know who said it, but it makes sense. It's like if you're more successful than other people, you're doing other things, which by definition means you're weird because you're not doing what normal people like. So it kind of gives you that comfort where you can go, hey, I'm a little strange, but that's what gives me that edge. And so when you don't fit in, it's more of a badge of honor than it is a badge of honor to fit in.
Yes.
You know,
your TikToks and YouTubes and everything that I watch all the time, we had the same childhood. Like I felt like when I was growing up.
Were you LDS too?
No. I'm actually Jewish.
No way. No way. But you were born in Utah.
No. I'm from New York.
Okay.
I went to Utah for that conference.
Okay, yeah. Because I was like, man, to be born in Utah, not be Mormon. That's like, that's 50-50.
I know.
Very close. Crazy. Okay, go ahead.
So I always felt like I always had like a ton of friends, but I always felt like I didn't fit in, even though I had a ton of friends from sports or like I was in Boy Scouts and stuff like that. Yeah. And you know, it's just because and all entrepreneurs that see some level of success, you can look back at your childhood, I think, and see this. It's like you just wanted it more. So you start having less in common with people that are like just okay being okay. I'm not okay being okay. I never will be because I see it. Like we're in Miami right now, man. Look, all the millions of dollars in real estate right here. Yeah. How do you see it and not do anything about it? That never made sense to me, but it's like you said, they had a plan B, C, D.
Yeah.
I barely had a plan A, you know what I mean? So it's like that, I would say, always believe in yourself. Always, man. I just firmly feel like, especially right now, when I interview a lot of people. The biggest thing that I probably do wrong in my business is I will not give up the interviewing because I have to know who's coming in. And also I have to sell them on the companies, you know? It takes up 2 hours of my day. Doesn't, you know, but it makes a massive impact.
Yeah.
During COVID, right? When I was getting mentored by you during COVID, those were the best years marketing wise that I had. I had the biggest breakthroughs and everything like that. And I speak to people and they're like, yeah, COVID really put me under, you know, no one was hiring at the time. I'm like, huh? What? Yeah. Did you like not go on like YouTube and like type in like how to make money and like go down the rabbit hole? That's how I found you.
Yeah. 17
different layers of searching this, and this. Wild. Facebook picks up on the pixel. You show up wearing a big white belt buckle. That's what happened.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's super inspirational, bro. Because, I mean, the funny part is, you know, the Amazon sounds like it was just very tip of the iceberg. It's definitely not the biggest thing you're going to do. It sounds like you've taken those skills and just excelled with them. I mean, because, like, that's the type of the funny part is that's the type of business where those skills can apply, but knowing those intricacies is, like, not quite as common. So when you can combine both, I think that's really, really powerful. You know, for people who want to find you, Josh, like where can they connect with you? Where can they find out more about you? Yeah. So I'm late to the podcast game. So we just started, because the thing is for the businesses that I have, you don't have to have internet marketing. Like we have internet marketing for like our recruiting services and some Medicare stuff, but like, so we just started one. It's called Beyond the Blueprint. Awesome. It might change because I'm looking at like trademark stuff. My content manager like is like looking forward to, but Beyond the Blueprint. We're on TikTok. We're going to be on Instagram and all those. And I'm on LinkedIn, Joshua Mallen. Awesome.
I have
dude.
all my stuff there. Would love to connect with people.
Awesome. Well, dude, thanks for sharing today. I mean, I loved it. I totally geek out on all the numbers and the analytics.
Come
and,
up, man. It's 30 minutes more.
Yeah, I know. I need to.
You're more than welcome anytime.
Yeah,
man.
I appreciate it. And super appreciate you sharing, and thanks for coming on.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Thanks, brother.
Appreciate it, man.